Hi, thanks for joining me again today. Today I want to look at the Big Ten and who the eventual champion might be. We'll look at the two divisions, see who's leading, and see who's going to make it through. Let's do some bookkeeping real quick and make sure we're all on the same page as to who qualifies for the Big Ten championship game. The Big Ten Conference is divided into two divisions, East and West. And it's their division champions that go and play in the conference championship game. The division champions are determined by their regular season conference record. In each division, they will play everyone within their division, making up 6 games, and then they will play 3 additional games with the opposing division, making a total of a 9 conference game schedule, which will determine from each division who gets to play. When those division champions are determined, they'll get the opportunity to go play December 3rd in Indianapolis. And what's up for stake? At a minimum, it's a Rose Bowl bid. Also on the table is the potential for getting an invite into the CFP. And if they make the CFP, then the Rose Bowl Selection Committee will choose an alternate to play instead of the Big Ten Conference champion. It doesn't necessarily have to be the runner-up of that game or someone from the Big Ten Conference either. The winner also receives some bragging rights and some hardware. There is what's called the Stag Championship Trophy, which will be on display at that school's trophy case for the next 12 months. In the West Division, I think we only really have 2 options to look at for who the eventual division champion is going to be. And that's Illinois with a 3-1 record going against Purdue with a 3-2 record. These 2 teams definitely control their own destiny and can get there based upon their own play. The others, Nebraska and Wisconsin, I think they have a mathematical chance to get there, but I just don't see how that's going to be a probable path that gets them there, and so we're not going to look at that for today's discussion. Out east, it's a very different situation. You've got 2 powerhouses that are both undefeated, Ohio State and Michigan. They're on a collision course for the last game of the season. It could come down to 2 undefeated teams playing it out for that opportunity to go play in the Big Ten championship game. Definitely these 2 teams would prefer to see some sort of Pac-12 arrangement where the top 2 teams in the conference go, but that's not the way it is in the Big Ten. You got to win your division, and there can only be one winner. Saying that, though, I don't think we can rule out Penn State. We still don't know a lot about Ohio State. A lot of things look good, that there's still a lot of unknowns in my mind. And I do see an opportunity for Penn State to kind of work its way through and potentially get in there with a 1-loss scenario, and we'll discuss that. Maryland, I don't see how this happens. I just don't see how these 3 teams are going to end up at 2 losses and for there to be a tiebreaker or for Maryland to win it outright with 2 conference losses. So for our discussion today, it's between Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State for the West. Out west, both teams really control their own fate, so it really just comes down to taking care of business and winning the games that you have to win. Here's what I see Illinois needs to do in order to take care of business. Really, it's this November 12th game against Purdue. They beat them in the head-to-head matchup. Purdue's going to fall to 3 conference losses, and that should be all that it takes for Illinois to win the West. But saying that, Illinois is going to get another loss against Michigan. So my prediction is it's Illinois with 2 losses in the West. Like Illinois, Purdue controls their own fate. And in some ways, I actually think they have the easier schedule to get through. Let me show you what I mean. So go down here and I look at the remaining games starting in November because they've got a bye this weekend. You've got Iowa, Illinois, Northwestern, and Indiana. I think those games are pretty winnable, with the biggest challenge being against Illinois. That being a head-to-head matchup, and tiebreakers would go to the head-to-head matchup first. If Purdue can just come away with this win and take care of business throughout the rest of their slate, Purdue would be a 2-conference lost Western Division champion with a bid into the Big Ten championship game. Number 13, Penn State, still has a chance, but it's really going to come down to how well they play this week against Ohio State. And this game against Ohio State, I hope, is going to answer a bunch of questions about whether or not Ohio State is for real or not. But we'll cover that more when we look at Ohio State. For Penn State's chances, they have got to overcome this Michigan loss by beating Ohio State. Force a three-way tie with everybody having at least one loss. And it's going to require some help. Not only do they need to beat Ohio State, but they're going to need Ohio State to beat Michigan at the end of the year. I don't know if all that can happen, but that's Penn State's chance, and that's what they're going to need to do to get there. Number 4, Michigan. Definitely a huge contender for the Eastern Division, especially when you look at what they've already accomplished. They have a pretty signature win right now over Penn State. Matter of fact, this was a blowout and a crusher. They definitely established themselves with a major defense and a great running game. And I think that's going to be really difficult for everybody else that they're going to have to play. When I look at who they're going to play for the remainder of the year, I see their last 2 games maybe causing the biggest challenges for them. And I only call out Illinois because I really think they're going to win that game, but I'm worried that they could be looking past it, and Illinois might be coming in thinking that they've got something to prove before the Big Ten championships line up. The Ohio State game, I'm concerned about this one. I want to give it to Michigan, but they're playing away, and I'm just not certain what I know about Ohio State yet in order to totally call this one direction or the other. But for Michigan to get through, I think they get through as an undefeated team, beating both Illinois and Ohio State in the last 2 weeks of the season. Number 2, Ohio State. I'm not sure what we can say here. This should be an easy call, but in my mind, it's really not. Because we just still have a lot of unanswered questions about Ohio State 7 games into the season. Let me show you what I mean. Start here with their opponents. At this stage, they haven't played anybody. We would have thought Notre Dame was a real game, but we saw how quickly Notre Dame fell out of the top 25 and really isn't threatening to come back in. Also, we look at their home and away schedule. Right now, they have only played 1 away game. I really don't know how they're going to travel, especially when they travel against a significantly ranked opponent. Those questions will be answered this week when they play Penn State in Pennsylvania. If Ohio State shows up and beats them the way Michigan did, I'll give them the walk all the way through with a big matchup coming against Michigan right at the end. If this game's close, I just don't see how Ohio State makes it all the way through. And my expectation would be that they wouldn't. So really, it comes down to this. Are they going to power through? Will they be are they going to power through Penn State? And will they be undefeated Eastern Division champions? So where do we land? I really see the Big Ten championship coming down to 3 scenarios in the East. The first, we're going to find out Ohio State is very overrated, and Penn State is going to knock them off or keep it close, in which case I really don't think Ohio State has a chance at making it all the way through. Second option is that Ohio State is for real. They're going to plow through Penn State, and they're going to end up beating Michigan at home, and they'll be the undefeated champion. Lastly, and probably the less likely scenario of the whole thing, is that we find Penn State beats Ohio State beats Michigan. All 3 of them will have a home victory. There will be no head-to-head 3-way tiebreaker that comes in here. And then we'll have to go look deeper into the Big Ten Conference rules as to who the conference champion really is. I'm just not convinced that Ohio State does it. Too many questions in my mind. So I'm going to go with Michigan, who's at least proven it to me 1 time against Penn State. I think they can run the table. They'll go undefeated. They will play Illinois in the Big Ten championship game. Likewise, I think they beat Illinois handily, 22-point margin of victory. And from that, they will get an invite into the CFP, most likely in the 3rd seed. Good luck to everybody in the Big Ten. Good luck to the Michigan Wolverines. And I hope you all love and enjoy college football as much as I do. That's our show for today. Thanks for being here. Hope you've enjoyed it. We'd ask you to subscribe. Mondays, we'll look at the AP Top 25 and how we feel that it reflects the weekend play. And every Friday, we try to do an interest story looking at a conference or some other topic within college football. Until next time, see you later.